Sealed and ported subwoofers. Many people say you shouldn't use ported and sealed subwoofers together because they can have phase imbalances and just different sound characteristics. But today, I'm gonna break that law and see how they actually sound whenever they're both used together. So the reason I'm even trying this is because I got this 4 cubic foot sealed subwoofer box for really cheap, and I had this 15-inch subwoofer just laying around from my previous ported subwoofer box. So I modeled it inside WinISD and the response looked really good. So I decided to put the 15 inside the sealed box. But once I finally got the 15 inside the box and then tested it out, it actually sounded pretty good. I was expecting a different sound, and I really wasn't expecting it to go that low. And I really wasn't expecting it to sound as good as it did. And it didn't sound too far off from my ported 18-inch subwoofer box. Obviously the 18 is louder and it can play just a bit deeper, but the sealed box actually still can play really deep, but it honestly doesn't sound too far off from my ported box. But I'll explain more of how these sound together right after I do the subwoofer crawl. So let's get to moving these subwoofers. So having my subwoofers in this position definitely sounds the best, but I can also just feel it the most too. And I'm just gonna be completely honest, adding the sealed 15-inch subwoofer made my setup sound a lot better and a lot louder. Even though I'm using different size subwoofers and different enclosures, it actually doesn't sound bad at all. It actually sounds really good. And I never got any phase cancellations. The bass sounded really nice and clean whenever I would play music, and these subwoofers don't really sound totally different from each other. They really do sound very similar. These are the same model subwoofers, so that's probably a big reason why, but I'm still just surprised that it sounds as good as it does. And it's definitely a lot louder because now I can wire my subwoofers at 1 ohm, because whenever I was just running my single 18-inch subwoofer, I was only able to wire it down to 2 ohms and I wasn't able to access all the power from my amplifier. But that's not the only thing that it upgraded today, as I actually finally fixed my amplifier. So if you guys remember this video, I was actually having a problem with my subwoofer, where basically at certain frequencies, mostly the lower frequencies, my subwoofer would make this weird popping noise, and it definitely wasn't because of over excursion. And in that video, I actually ended up fixing it, but then for some reason it just came back. And I even added a battery to my setup, so I really didn't think my amp wasn't getting enough power because the voltage from my battery was always staying at a good voltage. And according to the specs of the battery and my power supply, my amp should have been getting enough power, but it turns out that wasn't true. So I just decided to hook up my other PSU to my amplifier just to see what happens, and it actually ended up fixing the problem. So the whole time my amplifier wasn't getting enough power, but I'm so glad I fixed it, because now I can actually crank the subwoofers up and it doesn't make that sound anymore. And especially with adding the second subwoofer, subwoofer, my low end is just so much louder. It's honestly a huge difference, and it kind of feels like I got a brand new system. I wasn't anywhere near playing it at full volume in this video, but I definitely will show you guys that in a future video. So these subwoofers do pair great with each other, and they sound great. And since I added a second subwoofer, that means that they're gonna have more power handling, and now they're actually being underpowered, as my amplifier is only rated at 900 watts RMS at 1 ohm, so I definitely could get a bigger amplifier, but it's still very loud as it is. And if I were to change one thing, I'd honestly replace the 15 for the 18, so I can get that extra SPL. And I definitely plan to get a second 18, hopefully pretty soon this year, and then my setup will be even louder. A lot of people may say you shouldn't do certain things, or you have to do it this exact way in the car audio world / home audio world, but it's really all up to you guys. So if you guys are happy with your setup, and if you guys like it, then that's what really matters. And I'm definitely happy with the setup, and it just sounds amazing. But also adding this second subwoofer just added a whole nother feel for the lows, because the lows were crazy before, but now the lows are actually insane, especially the infrasonic lows. I'll be making a ton more videos about this setup soon, so stay tuned for that. I appreciate all y'all for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something new today, and I'll see you on the next video.